Hello, it's Gem Games here once again, and in this video we're going to create a lock that you can use with the door, so you can lock the door, and also a key that you can pick up to the inventory and that you can use to unlock the lock. Yeah, so let's get started. First you want to go to the link in the description that takes you to my Google Drive, and you want to download the lock and the key folders. After you have done that, you want to go to the resources and to the modules, and you want to import those folders. Import all, like this. Actually, look, yeah, okay. Now we have actually everything here correctly. And now we want to go to the interactables. We want to duplicate the test actor, and we want to call it key. Okay, then let's open it. Let's go to the viewport. Let's delete this cube. Let's add a static mesh. Let's call it key. Let's select the key mesh. Search for a key like this. Okay, it can be like that. I will actually align it a little bit better. Actually, first I will change the camera speed. Okay, this is lagging. I don't know why. But yeah, let's align it like this. And then what I also want to do is I want to add a cube here, which I will call interact collision. And now I want to scroll down. Actually, first I want to set this, make this locked, and I want to change this scale to 0.4 on all, and also 20 units on here, so it's basically on the surface. Now I want to change this collision preset to custom. Everything to ignore except the visibility to block, like that, because we are using the visibility on our interact trace. Now here a little bit more down we have this visible. Let's make it not visible, like that. Now let's compile, let's save, and let's go to the event graph. Let's click on the can interact, and here I think we actually want to delete this from here, because I think the key, if it's like placed on the level, it will always be interactable like this. Now let's delete this variable, so it will always be interactable. Now on interact, let's delete everything else from here. Here what we have to do, we have to actually create a few functions first on the player character. So let's compile, let's save, and let's move this to here. Now let's go to the blueprints. Let's open our PP first person character, and let's move it here. I like always the PP, like the player blueprint to be first. I don't know why, but yeah. Now here on interact, what we want to do, actually, we want to do one more thing. Let's go to the first person map and to the interfaces and to the interactable. And here on interact, what we want to do, we want to add a input, and that will be player ref, and the variable type will be first person PP first person character object reference, like that. So let's compile, let's save, and let's close this. We did this only so we can pass the player reference, so we didn't have to cast every time on the interactable object. This way we can skip that part. This is like the best way, I think, in this case. So let's close this. Now we have this, actually we want to go to the PP first person character. Here we have this player ref now on the interact function. We want to get from it, and we want to just get reference to self, like this. So now we will pass this ourself as variable there. And I will actually move this a little bit further up. Let's compile, save. And now let's start creating the inventory. So let's create a variable. Let's call it inventory. This will be just a list of names in this case. So let's change it to name. And from here, from single to array, like that. Let's compile, let's save. Now what we want to do, we want to make a new category called inventory. Now it will be under that. Now to the functions, let's create a new function. Let's call this print inventory. This is so we can actually print the items to the screen, because we are not going to create any HUDs or anything like that, at least for now. Sorry, I cannot speak today. Now let's change this category to inventory. And what we want to do here, we want to get our inventory array, and we want to for each loop. And then we want to print string like this, connect the loop body to here, and array element to here. It will convert it from a name to string. Now let's open this and make the duration to 0, because we will add this to the event tick. Okay, let's compile, let's save. Now let's go to the event graph. And here on the event tick, after this interaction trace, let's call this print inventory. Okay, and the next thing what we want to do is we want to create another function called add to inventory, and we want to change the category to inventory. And here we want to add a input. Let's call it item and change the variable type to name. Now we want to get our inventory here, and we want to add, not add unique, add like this. And let's add the item to here like this. The next thing what we have to do is we want to create yet another function. Let's call this check if in inventory. Here what we want to do is we want to add a input also, and it will be item and variable type name like this. And we don't have to get from this or anything like that. We just want to get our inventory array ref, and we want to for each loop with break, not the normal, with break, so we can stop it when we want. Now what we want to do, we want to get the array element, and we want to check if it's equal to. Now we want to right click and search for item, so we can get this get item variable, which is this here. Or you can just connect this, but this is the same thing. Okay. Now we want to add a branch, and left click, get from the loop body, connect to here, check it on the condition, and after that from true we want to add a sequence, so S and left click, and then 0 we want to get from here and connect to the break. Now let's add reroutes, so we can move it to some better place so it looks cleaner like this. Also like this, I think. Okay, it looks okay. After that we want to get from the 10.1 and we want to get return node. And we want to add a output called found. Variable type will be boolean, and we want to set it to true. Okay, so if the array element is equal to the item, then we will break the loop and set the output to true. And from the completed, if we don't do any of that, then we want to get the return node also, and we want to set it to false. Okay, let's compile, let's save, and let's set this category to inventory. And now let's create the last function, which will be called remove from inventory, like that. And the category will be inventory, of course. And this is simple as we want to get the inventory. We want to add a input called item, like in all of these, variable type name. Now we want to remove item like this, and we want to just get this item from here. Okay, simple as that. Let's compile, let's save. Now what we want to do, we want to go to the key. And here on the event interact, we want to get the player ref, and we want to add to inventory like this. The item, we want to promote it to a variable because we are on the key and we want to be able to set the item or the key, like what the key is basically. So let's call this like key name, and let's make it instance editable and explosion spawn. So now we can change it on the level. Now let's call destroy actor after this. So when we pick the key up, we will destroy this. Okay, let's compile, let's save. Now we can actually try. Let's move the key to the level, maybe to here. And let's set the key name to key 1 or something like that. Now let's play. When we go here, you can see we can interact. When we pick it up, you can see we have the key 1 here on our inventory. Okay, but we cannot do anything with that yet. So let's fix that. Now let's duplicate the test actor once more. Now let's call this door. Sorry, not door. Lock. Let's open it. And let's go to the viewport. Let's delete our cube. And to the default scene root, let's add a scene. Let's call it main pivot. Okay. To here, we want to add a mesh, static mesh, like this. Let's call this lock. Now let's search for a cold lock box like this. And let's duplicate this. And let's move it under this lock like this. The lock 1 is under lock. This is the inside part of the lock. So let's change this to cold lock plane like this. Now you can see we have this black thing there inside. After that, what we want to do, we want to click on the lock and add a skin or scene. I don't know how to pronounce that. Let's call this hinge. Okay, this will be the hinge which rotates this top part. Now under the hinge, let's add a static mesh, and this will be called lock hinge or something like that. I'm not good with the names, but yeah. Now let's get the cold lock cylinder. Okay. So now what we have to do, the main pivot, we want to. Oh, let's wait a second. I'm doing something else here. Okay. Let's move the main pivot. Click on that and let's move it to like 20. Like that. Now under that, let's get our lock and let's move it to -20. So it's here at the bottom. Now we have the main pivot here in this part because we want to create an animation when you don't have the key that you can like rotate this lock like this, something like that. I don't know. And now on the hinge, we want to set it to where this locking thing is. So I think its position is supposed to be somewhere. So hinge, let's, oh shit, oh sorry about that. Let's move it upwards. And now let's see, let's move it to the middle of this. So it's -2.83, okay? And 11 from here. So now let's go to lock hinge. Let's put positive 2.83 and -11. So now it's at the starting position. Okay, now we can compile, we can save, we can go to the event graph. And yeah, here on the event graph, we want to create a few things. Let's delete all of these and let's click on the interact like this. Actually, let's go first to the can interact. And do we want to do something here? Yeah, let's set this variable, not instance editable, not explosion spawn, but let's leave this thing to here. Okay, now let's close this and go to the event graph. actually let's save, we have 10 unsaved things. Okay, that took a while. Now, here on event interact, we want to get the player ref and we want to check if in inventory, like this. Now, let's promote this to a variable. Let's call this item that opens lock or something like that. And let's make it instance editable and exposable. Now we can set on the level that what is the name of the key or key card or whatever that opens this lock. After that, we want to add a branch. So P and left click. We want to check if we find it or not. And if we do, we want to get from the player ref and we want to remove from inventory like this. Let's add some reroutes. Put this up here, I think. And yeah, now the item, let's get from here. The item, let's move it here, I think, something like that. Let's select this and align it with Q. And now from the, actually we have to create a few functions quickly. So let's right click and let's create a custom event. Let's call this like cannot open or something like that. Let's go a little bit more down, like to here, custom event. And let's call this open lock. Now let's actually move this both a little bit further down. Now from here, from the true, after this, we want to call the open lock. Open lock. From here, from the false, we want to call the cannot open. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to first set the can interact to false. Okay. After that, what we want to do is we want to create a timeline and play from start. So control and move that. Let's call this like cannot open. Oh, I didn't write anything. Sorry. So cannot open TL. Now let's open it. Let's make the length 1. Let's add a flow track. Add key to the 0 and 0. Next key to the time 0.05 as 0.25 and value 1. Actually, value 10. After that, let's add a key. Time 0.75. Oh, sorry, 0.75 and value -10. And let's add one more to the time 1 and value 0. Now, when we click this and this, you can see this whole thing here. Actually, I will have to click this even more. Oh, okay, I will have to scroll. Now let's click from this auto, also from here, auto. So now it's basically smooth. Okay, it's not completely smooth yet. Let's auto this. Yeah, now it's smooth. So it goes from 0 to 10 and from there 10 to the -10 and back to the 0. So I will show you soon why it does that. So let's compile and save. Let's close this. Now here on event graph, we want to get our main pivot because, like I told you, we want to set the rotation like this. Okay, so let's set relative rotation main pivot. Actually, I don't know why it always gets another, but yeah. And from the update, let's get it. Let's move to here. Let's split this so we can access only the set. And let's connect it to here. And let's get this whole thing a little bit closer. So we are setting the new rotation set from 0 to 10, from 10 to -10 and back to the 0. After it has finished, we want to set can interact to true, because this will be the animation that when we cannot open the door. Okay, let's move it even further down. And also this even further down. Now let's copy this, all this thing. Let's paste it here. Let's connect to here. Let's align it a little bit better. This timeline, let's call this OpenTL. Okay, let's open it. And to OpenTL, let's delete this key and also this key. So now we have the 0 and the 1 mark. Now the 1, let's set the value to 1. So it's look like this. Compile and save. Go to the graph. Here, what we want to do next is we have this relative rotation. Let's move it a little bit further. Let's cut this link. So Alt and left click. Let's get from the new rotation set. And actually, I think we did some little mistake here. Sorry. Here on the cannot open, we want to connect this to the Y, not to the Z. So Control and move it to the Y, like that. Okay. Now from the set here, we want to, actually I will have to check it. So we want to lerp it like this. And the alpha to the new track and 0 and 180. I think that's cool. Now we will do this animation here when I actually, when I can, we will do this animation. Okay, it's not the best, but it will work. So this will do it. And after that, actually we want to change main pivot to the hinge, this scene, not the lock hinge, this hinge. Okay, and now we don't want to be able to interact after that. We just want to get our we want to right click and call activate electricity activate. Okay, let's connect it from the finish like this. Let's add a reroute here. Now the target, we want to create a new variable. Let's call it target actor. Let's make it instance editable and explosion spawn, and let's change the variable type to actor. Actor object reference. I didn't promote it from here because it will make it object and it will not work correctly because we can find the actors from the level. Okay, now let's get the target actor, connect it to here, and after that we want to just destroy the actor. Destroy actor. Now let's compile, let's save. Now when we go to the level, we go to this door. Let's actually create another door here. So let's make this wall a little bit smaller. Let's get this door, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Let's move it to here. Let's set this to 850. And let's add this another wall to here. I don't know why. Oh, I didn't have this on. Okay, so let's set 900 like this. Now the key here, let's call it key 1. And now we have this door here, which is called door 2. Now we want to get our lock to the level. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. Let's move it upwards. Let's move it here. Let's actually move it closer to the door like this. A little bit upwards. So I think it's there. Actually, it's too high. I think it should be around there. Okay, the lock key is there. Now we have this item that opens the lock, which is now the key. This is called key 1. So let's click on the lock. Call this exactly the same. So key 1. Target actor will be the door. Okay, and we will have to set that doors can interact to false as default. Now from here we want to search for the door 2. So now this lock opens this actor with this key, which is this, you can see. So now when we save and we play, and I try to open this lock without the, actually, I think it should be interactable at the start. Oh, this game glitched. Okay, but here on the lock, can interact do I have to make it? Yeah, sorry about that. We have to make it true as default to can interact. So let's compile, let's save, let's try again. I cannot always remember everything. So now we have this lock, we can interact, but if you don't have the key, it will do this animation. Okay, and the door is not unlockable. Now when we get this key, now we have the key 1 on the inventory. When we go to here and we press E, it will open the lock, and now you can see the door is... Oh, my game crashed. Okay, I will show you again. Okay, so the game crashed, but yeah, as you can see, we can open the lock. Now the door is interactable after that. So yeah, I think that was all for this video. If you like what you saw, please click the like button and subscribe for more. And yeah, hope you have a great day and see you on the next one.